want to know what they're made of. And today, my guest, the lovely actress Richa Mukherjee. You know what? This girl has been to Bollywood and back. She's been on TV, and she's going to be on a few more platforms as well. She's been she's acted in Damal, she's acted in Kar, she's acted in Pathshala, she's acted in a load of TV serials. Sarai. I've never been able to pronounce it. I remember watching it, but I've never been able to pronounce it. She's been on, which ones? Yeah, Kumkum. She's been on Choti Si Zindagi. I mean, where hasn't she been? Now, for the whole list, you are going to have to go to Wikipedia because it's going to take all day. So I'm going to try and get this lady in. So let's see if she's here because you want to hear it from her. Richa, hello.
Finally, that was quite an introduction.
Well, you deserved it, as I said. No, but look, all I know is you're looking gorgeous. And all these people, look, they're all saying, you know what, before we go on, do you want to say hi to these people? Because, look, there you go.
Of course. All my love to them. And I'm so looking forward to this interview. And I think all of you who are joining us, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Because
well, I hope so. I hope so. Oh dear. But listen, we almost missed you in Bollywood and TV, right? Because your first career choice wasn't acting, was it?
Yeah. Actually, I came here because of singing, right?
So this is it. So why haven't I heard you? Why haven't I heard you sing? Is it because it just picked? I want us to pick the judge this time. I want to be the judge. Go for it.
Absolutely. But this time I'd go for an English song since in my last lives I've always sang a Hindi song. So let's go for English.
Go on.
I really love the lyrics of the song.
Okay, go on.
So, sing me a song of a last that is gone. Say could that last be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Billow and breeze, oceans and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was fair, all that was real, all that was me is gone. Sing me a song of a last that is gone. Say, could that last be I?
Oh my God, I've got my own performance, my own solo. So listen, you started your acting career really early, didn't you? Almost what, at the age of 10 or something? I mean, is that the age?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but
in fact, before that, I was around 8. Yeah.
Oh my God, but while I was drawing.
Now, it's been 12 years that I'm in this industry.
12 years, and look at you, and you can actually say you've been in the industry 12 years. Imagine, that is amazing. But listen, were you the go-to bacha in the industry? Because you started being in the movies quite early. So were you the go-to bacha? Because she's hanging around, she's familiar. The kind of, I guess, Lucy, the nepotism. Nice nepotism.
No, I think that happens after growing up. Maybe. And it's not that difficult to get films, but maybe after growing up, it's much more harder. Land a film, something that you're looking for. But yes, so there were many other girls as well. So you always have to audition and you always have to put your best foot forward.
You acted in Pathshala, and you've acted with stars like Shahid Kapoor, Nana Patekar. I mean, what was that like? Tell me. As a kid, it must have been amazing.
Yeah, of course, it was amazing. With Shahid Kapoor, I can say that it was heartwarming. It was all rainbows and unicorns for me.
Oh God!
I've always had a crush on Shahid Kapoor. From that time and even today. And I think I would like to work with him again because he's just the same. He's still the same, just more hotter. So I would like to work with him again, and then I can come back and tell you what it is like to work with him. As for Nana Patekar, sir, I remember when I was doing the film, and whenever he used to come to sets, I used to kind of feel scared of him. not because he had attitude or anything, but the kind of personality that he is, the kind of aura that he has, it demands respect. Actually, scared would be the wrong word. Respect is the right word. So you just see him and you automatically respect him. So that was there, and I can say that he's one of the most experienced actors that I've ever worked with. Yeah. Because, as I've said in my previous interview as well, I've never seen him taking a retake. He's just so good at what he does. So you're just in awe of him that, wow, like these are actual actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the impact that he has had on me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is he as scary as he seems? Because I get scared just watching the TV thinking, what is he going to say next? I'm sorry for the... I do. Honestly, I love him. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so you are so lucky.
He's funny, but he's straightforward. So that's there. He's very straightforward, but he's funny, and he's very, very sweet when you go and talk to him. Yeah. But it's just that when he's silent and, the look on his face, you're always scared to approach him, in the first place. That's there.
Yeah, it's like my mum. When she's silent, I know I've done something wrong. So that's it. So I think that I know how you feel. I know how you feel. You know what? But as I said, you have gone from screen to screen. Now you've done a load of TV programs. Literally, if you look at Wikipedia, I could go on and on. And you first started in Kumkum, right? But you've had so many. But I'll tell you the ones that I remember. I remember you in, especially Punne Vivaah. I remember you in Mere Angane Mein, right? Because I actually watched them, by the way, when I first came here, and I never lie about this. And whoever,
and I hope you liked it.
I loved it. I loved it, and that's why I have, and I'm going to ask you actually. Now, I found that these particular shows, they had a particular plot that was progressive, but the way they created it was a bit regressive. So it was, it had, two opposite poles. When you saw the script, what did you think about, say, Punne Vivaah, for example? Because that was about, second marriages, wasn't it? So for a woman getting married again.
Right.
So what did you think? So what did you think? Yeah, when a woman, they focused on the woman having a second marriage, and suddenly it's become a big story. So Punne Vivaah for me, and I was thinking, did that surprise you when you first saw the script?
Okay, no. For Punne Vivaah, actually, I was pretty young, so I didn't even think about the script that way. But yes, definitely for Mere Angane Mein, as the script or as my character, it was basically they replaced the main lead who was doing, Ekta Kaul, correct. So the kind of character that she was playing strong character, someone who's confident, who speaks up for herself, that kind of a person. I think the major reason why I was given a little meek personality is because people had already accepted her and liked her the way she was. So if they would have given similar characteristics, it would have just been a different face, but the same character. So that was the major reason why they came up with this whole meek character, and they came up with this whole different storyline, a different aura that I provide into the screen. So when I enter, public would connect with me on grounds of sympathy, on grounds of simplicity. That was the main reason why I was given that kind of a character. But what you're saying here, I understand it, that why second marriages when it comes to women is such a big deal. I get that. Sometimes marriages just don't work. And it's important to move on from such a marriage, because you're not just suffering yourself, but you're also making your partner suffer. So it is healthy to break such a marriage and move on with someone. And when women do that, it's just the same. So people need to accept these things rather than judging. If we learn to accept more, I think a lot of problems will be solved. So yeah.
So what I would say, so media, they have a lot of influence. Bollywood movies have a lot of influence. TV have a lot of influence. Sometimes, do you not feel though that TV, like directors or production houses, need to take some responsibility? Maybe they should have kept a stronger progressive woman, because Ekta, the first wife, was actually progressive, educated. She was strong, but she had a good heart, but she was misunderstood. should we not really then progress that idea instead of giving the meek one, creating a meek character? What do you think about that? Wasn't that our responsibility if we were?
Yes, yes, definitely it is our responsibility, and that is why we do come up with these stories also where, there are many shows where we show that a woman from a village, she comes to the city and she makes her life for herself. There are many such shows on television. So you cannot
Yeah,
deny that. But also, we also need to show the reality sometimes. Because this
yeah,
is also a fact that women are suffering and for no reason.
yeah,
Why you notice that this girl, just because it's her second marriage, suddenly people are treating her wrongly. And you felt bad about it, right?
yeah,
So when a public from third point of view watches that, even they'll feel sympathy towards me, and then we might realize that this is wrong. This shouldn't
yeah.
happen. She's a good
Okay.
girl. Maybe
Yeah.
that perspective is also important to be shown to the public. So
Right,
that's
yeah.
why.
Right. So how much power do you think an audience has in terms of changing or choosing roles? Because many TV serials I've seen, I've seen, was it Dil Ka Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai? That the child has changed 3 times in there. But that's just one example. And the roles just keep on changing. How much control does an audience have then in changing a role or creating a role?
See, basically, actors or this entire industry is completely dependent on our public, on our
Yeah.
audience. So we always come up with what the audience wants. So yeah, that is
Mm.
true. We have this whole process of, the channel, the creatives. They discuss on the stories. They see what the public wants, what they want to see, and accordingly, the scripts are always changed. So that it is a very important factor. Audience is the most important factor when it comes to films or television. So
Yeah.
yes, of course, that really does affect the stories a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they don't realize actually how strong they are, right?
it.
Yeah. So tell me this then. So how far does an audience's control go? I mean, do you sometimes find though that it actually affects your personal life and your personal space as well? When you come out of that TV show, I mean, do you find that you have to work the way the audience want you to, even when you're off the set?
Uh, yeah, sometimes that happens, especially when you play particular characters. I mean, it has not personally happened with me. Different things has happened with me. I'll tell you about it. But yes,
Mm.
I've heard interviews or I've seen people, especially like Saurabh, who has played Krishna. So, just because he has played Krishna, he cannot smoke
Yeah.
in front of public because they just see so highly of him. So he cannot
Yeah.
be his own self, or he cannot flirt with girls. If someone sees him doing that, they just be like, "Come on, you're Krishna, you're Lord Krishna. You are not supposed to behave that way." So yeah, that does happen. It does impact your personal life. But what I feel is fans are very important for us,
Mm.
undoubtedly, and the kind of love that we receive from fans, it's unconditional, and
Yeah.
that is what is just keeps us going when we are facing a downtime, when we lose confidence in ourselves. It's the fans who remind us like how beautiful we are, or how
Yeah.
talented we are, or how we need to keep going. But then sometimes I feel there are people, I will not call them fans, there are people who just want some attention.
Mm.
So people who seeking attention, so they demand stuff, and if we fulfill their demands, they're happy. If we don't, they start writing weird things about you. So they are the people who are not your fans, who just think that they have made you what you are
Mm.
today. So to
Well, I was
them,
going
at
to
the end,
say, because they will feel that they put you there, so they have the right to tell you what to do and how to live your life, you know?
exactly, yes, correct, because they feel that they have made us what we are today, and to them, I'd like to say it's true. It is. There's no denying that whatever we are today, it is because of our fans. They have made us start. But in order to be noticed by them, in order to get the show that we're doing through which you recognize us, we have given hundreds of auditions,
Mm.
every single day. We have been rejected. We have been, we have dealt with depression, with anxiety. We have dealt with so low self-esteem. And then we have again showed up in another audition, and then finally we've got some show. And there's
Mm.
no guarantee that that show is the show that will enable us to reach you. Maybe that show
Yeah.
will go off air, within 2 months. Or if it's a
Yeah.
film, maybe that might be a complete dead at the theater. So the whole process is repeated, and then finally we get that show through which we have met you, through which you've seen us. And even time while we're shooting for that show, the minimum of time that we give is 12 hours, but most of the days it is more than 12 hours. We work for 18 hours, sometimes 24 hours.
Yeah.
Along with it, we have to take care of our physique. So we have
Yeah.
to work out, we have to maintain our diet. So what I mean to say is, definitely you have made us start, but you need to respect the journey that you're making.
Yeah.
You need to admire it. You need to respect it. So if we're receiving love from you, if you're giving us love today, somehow we have earned it, right?
Yeah.
It's not free of cost. We are paying the
Yeah.
price. We are working
Yeah.
our asses for it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that has to be recognized.
Yeah, no,
That has
definitely.
to be
No,
realized.
no, I agree. And you've worked really hard because not only so you've worked in the movies, you've worked in all those serials, and then not only have you worked in Ramayan and you mentioned Krishna, you've also worked in Mahabharata. So so the biggest epics ever. You've worked in both. So you've worked really hard, I have to say. Did Mahabharata come out originally in 2013 and they're showing reruns now? Am I correct about the dates?
Yes, correct.
I could be
2000.
wrong. So what is it? I mean, about the pandemic, I don't know, the lockdown, why? They could have chosen everything. Why are we doing reruns of Mahabharata or Mahabharata? Have I pronounced it well? I don't even know.
No, it is Mahabharata. Yeah, people do call it Mahabharata also. I think, see, these shows, whether it's Mahabharata or it's Ramayana, they have a certain vibration to it.
Mm,
They radiate positivity. That's there,
yeah,
definitely. When you watch these shows, you do feel positive. You feel hopeful. So I think during the pandemic, when all of that is going around the world, all this negativity, maybe people need some positivity to hold on to. And these shows provide you that. And also, they have been super hit shows, of their
yeah.
time when they came out. So during the pandemic, we were not able to come up with new episodes, right?
Mm.
So maybe people loved it before. That was the reason they retelecasted it. So people watched it again, enjoy their time at home. That
But
yeah.
do you think it's actually had a positive impact then? Have you got any mail or any feedback to suggest that people are actually, is there any difference in the response from 2013 and today when they did the rerun? How do you know what kind of an impact it's actually having at a time like this?
Um, um, I think both the times I've received very positive messages. I mean, the kind of impact it has on people, it is unimaginable. People have made these characters a part of their life.
Yeah,
They worship these characters. They kind of worship us, and that's not because of the acting that we're doing. Of course, acting matters. They do connect with us somewhere, but then it is because of the vibration of the show, the way the show has been made, or the way the Krishna Gyan was said in the show. When people listen to it, I'm sure they connect with it. I used to connect with it personally. It was so real. And
yeah.
I think that is the reason people feel so positive about it that they can't help it but love the show and watch it every single day. And no, there has been no difference. It has always radiated positivity and it has always impacted on a very positive way. Whoever has watched the show.
No, you know what? I think, but how much, before you did Mahabharata or Ramayana, how much of it did you actually know yourself? Did you actually learn about it as you went through the story, as you acted through it? Or did you have to read up about it? What actually, I mean, did you say did you learn anything from it as you went through the show yourself?
Um, See, basically during shoots, what happened is you've been given scripts, and at that time, your main focus is to just
It's,
do your best acting. Just
yeah.
do what you've been casted there for.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, as I told you, when I used to watch the show, I always loved the Krishna Gyan parts. I have actually learned a lot from Mahabharata. I'd, I'd like to um, I'd like to sum up whatever I've learned from Mahabharata into a poem. It's actually a poem named Brahma. I love poems, and it is an
Okay.
adaptation of Bhagavad Gita. So it goes like, if the red slayer thinks he slays, and if the slain thinks he is slain, they know not well the subtle ways. I keep and pass and turn again. Far and forgot to me are near. Shadow and sunlight are the same. The far off gods to me appear, and one to me are fame and shame. They reckon I'll who leave me out. When me they fly, I am the wings. I am the doubter and the doubt, and I the hymn the Brahmin sings. The strong gods pine for my abode, and pine in vain the sacred seven. But thou, the meek lover of good, find me and turn thy back on heaven. So what I gathered
Wow.
from it is that whatever we have calculated of life, for us, life means living comfortably, being popular, earning money. That is what, if we have all of this in our life, I think we have led a successful life. That is what we think. But Mahabharata and shows like this teaches us that in the end, none of this actually matters. What actually matters is how you've impacted, even if it's one person, but how you've impacted someone. What are the footsteps that you're leaving behind?
Yeah.
What is the example that you're setting for those to follow? That is what actually matters.
Yeah.
So as Lord Krishna says, he exists in both good and evil.
Yeah.
The only difference is if you lead the good life, in the end, you'll be happy, you'll be in peace, you'll be satisfied. And if you follow the evil, you'll have an okay life, but in the end, you will not rest in peace. So that's the basic thing that I have learned from Mahabharata, and it did impact me also personally, very strong.
So listeners, I hope you heard this because it's really useful. And I have to say, now I've lived a few more years, quite a few more years, decades actually more than Richa. And what she says is actually true. And when somebody asks me what I want to, what my aim is in life, and I always say this, is to make a difference, to leave something behind, positive behind when, when I'm gone. And I totally resonate with that. But I have to say, I have to say, these characters are so strong. I mean, what will happen if suddenly you decide to now move on to another type of movie, which requires you to? All right, sorry, what was that?
Move on to
another. Will your audience allow you to move on to doing other types of roles that are a bit more free, that may require you to wear, I don't know, certain limited, I guess, very limited clothing to be in certain roles? With your audience now seeing you the way you're, will they allow you to move on to do these certain roles? What do you think? What if you had to wear a bikini? What would your audience think? What would you think?
Okay. I think our audience knows that we are actors and they love us for the role that we've played because it did impact their lives in a certain way. But I'm sure they know that I'm actually Richa Mukherjee. In my career, I will have to play different kinds of roles, and I will play different kinds of roles because my personal reason of getting into this industry is to challenge myself and prove myself as a versatile actor. So I will choose different roles. So different roles will demand different things from me. Obviously, it depends on when I get the role. If I am to wear bikini in some film or in some, TV serials usually don't do that.
Don't.
But if in some film I'm offered to wear a bikini, it completely depends at that time what I want to do. If I am okay with wearing a bikini for that story that has been offered to me, if I think that the story genuinely demands a bikini, then maybe. I don't know. I've never really thought of it yet, but maybe.
Yeah, so absolutely does. So yeah, we've got quite a few people saying, what's wrong with it? Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you'll find that a lot of the audience are very demanding. They're very quite possessive with their characters. And I remember, I think, if I'm not wrong, is it Amol Parikar from Ramayana? I mean, his role, I think, was as Ram was so strong that he found it hard. I don't think he could do. I don't think the audience allowed him to do any other role. So I'm not sure whether it was a good thing or a bad thing for him. So, I'm not sure if I got the actor wrong, but I do.
That's definitely a bad thing, but what was there now? There were no social medias at that time.
Yeah.
So if you were into television, so people knew you just by your character. They didn't know the real person. So the benefit of social media is this, that they get to know the real you. So they know that you're not the character that they're just watching on television. They also know the person that you are. And that's why it might get easier for them to accept you in some different way.
So that's a good thing, actually. So times have changed. And I think our audience mindset has also progressed as well, which is a really good thing. So we've talked about history, we've talked about ancient history. So let's talk about the present. Tell me what you're up to right now. What have you got cooking?
Okay. No, I am working on 2 films now.
But are you going to tell us in a nutshell what each one is about? Are you allowed to tell us?
I can tell you a little bit about it. Obviously, I
Go on.
cannot reveal all the details.
Okay.
So basically, the first film is an out and out commercial film. There's action, there's romance, there's a bit of mystery. So
Mm,
basically, if you go to watch that film, you're gonna be completely entertained in the film.
yeah.
And the second film is rather on a serious subject. It is about the dark web.
Oh,
So
okay.
it basically takes you through the entire journey, especially the human trafficking part of that web. So it takes
Ooh,
you through the entire journey of the human trafficking, like what happens, when this happens through the web. How should I tell this? Like how people are recruited. Basically, what happens? They are recruited, they are exported to different countries, and then they are exploited. And then what happens, and what are the measures that you can take? Protect yourself from such false
yeah.
advertisements or whatever. So it shows you the entire thing with a very beautiful story. So that is what the
You know,
second film is all about.
do you know what a coincidence this is? You know, you talk about human trafficking. Now, if you, oh, listeners, in fact, this is interesting. If you go to my website, annied.in, I've actually done, no, and my YouTube channel, In Conversation with Annie D, you'll actually find an interview with a private investigator on how they recruit, what the strategy is of a trafficker, funnily enough. So, you know, it's something that is also
No,
close to my
actually, even
heart.
I read a lot about it when I was offered this film. I wanted to know. I knew about the dark web, but I
Yeah.
wanted to be more well informed about it. So even I personally read a lot about it, and yeah, I think that is
If,
it's terrible what this entire
yeah,
thing is. People
if
need
you
to
can,
know about.
absolutely. I mean, what did you find? What was surprising to you when you did the movie? What did you learn about it as you were researching?
Um,
There's some, you know, I mean, it is quite dark. I mean, was there any messages that you've thought, you know, lessons that you've learned, or any messages that maybe you can create for the public, you know, to be aware, you know, as you've been doing this movie? What have you got from it?
well, I did a lot of research on dark web. Basically, what is dark web? Actually, deep web was created by the government to
Mm,
uh, to exchange confidential information, related to the states, the
mm,
military, security,
yeah,
that sort of information, or to safeguard private information that we put into the web, like our credit card details, our bank details. So deep web was created to encode these information so that it cannot be accessed by an ordinary person, or it
yeah,
cannot be recognized by the search engine. So deep web was created with good intention, but certain group of people, they exploited the power of the deep web to carry out illegal activities such as
yeah.
human trafficking, uh, you know, drug trafficking, exporting illegal weapons, and so on. So that is how dark web surfaced. The dark web is basically the exploited part of the deep web.
Mm,
Now, when I was offered the film and I searched about it, I came across this research of, I think, 2014, as far as I remember. So the research said that the most posted content on dark web is about child pornography and child
oh,
abuse videos.
oh
It
God.
is I have if anyone goes and watches these videos, I think you'll go nil.
Yeah,
I got goosebumps just by reading it. People are being tortured. These people who are running this business, it's huge. The
yeah,
government cannot touch them. Even if they try to stop them, it's going to take a lot of money, a lot of power, because they are spread all over the world, and they go to any length to fulfill the demands of certain people who actually entertain such
yeah.
websites or such content. But I would like to say something here. Since we're talking about the dark web, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about it ever since I got this. So we, as the most of the population, we the citizens, don't we exploit the internet? I have people who post absurd comments, you know, dirty comments on someone over the social media, or people who character shame someone, right? People who circulate baseless news about someone without any evidence. Recently, the demise of Sushant Singh Rajput, it left the entire world in a state of shock.
Yeah.
I know that I was heartbroken when I learned of the news. But just sometime before that, news about him was circulated that he has taken advantage of his last film co-actor. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Right? So nonsense news, but it was circulated and it was entertaining. So people who do such things, just to get some likes, some public into their websites or whatever, aren't they exploiting the power of the internet? I mean, this is where the dark web surfaces. After them come those people, who might take inappropriate pictures of you without your consent or without your knowledge, or steal it from your private folders and upload it on the internet just for fun, or just to take revenge, maybe. People who are actually conducting this whole dark web business, they have made a business out of these very activities. So even if you're exploiting the internet a little bit, it is a part of the whole system. You are corrupting the system, and that is what is, leading to the greater consequence that is happening with around the world through this dark web. And trust me, it is bad. It is so bad. I mean, when I started reading about it, I almost used to get tears in my eyes just by reading what happens to these people. I mean, they are being abused in every possible way. Kids are being raped, guys. So what I want to tell everyone who's watching this right now, I just like to tell them that we have been given an immense power through the internet, right? We have the power to connect with millions sitting at one place. Use it for the good. Use it to spread positivity, to save lives, to even protest. Protesting is important, raising your voice is important, but do it in the limits of the law. Because otherwise, what is the difference between someone who has committed crime, someone who is seeking justice? There is no difference. But don't misuse this power, because you might do it that kuch nahi hota, kya fark padta hai? It's okay. You're just doing something really small, but you don't know. Somehow that is contributing to the dark web that is affecting life. And this is not about this is not about the economy. This is not about the country. It's not about religion. This comes down to humanity. So just being human, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop exploiting the power of the internet. Because the internet is one of the most powerful things that we've got today. So we as citizens need to make sure that we use it for the best possible cause. Right? So that's what I'd like to tell.
I think that's a fantastic message for people that are on here. I think it's a fantastic message for people who are listening to tell their friends as well. It is, something has happened. I don't know what it is, the pandemic or the lockdown. And it's really there's a dark world out there. In fact, the stories that seem to be coming out now on the OTT platform, I feel that it's almost because now we have a wider audience, we've got the real stories that are very, very dark indeed. And I have to say, I'm guilty because I have watched these dark stories because for some reason I am really finding them interesting. This is the thing, but this is it. But you need to know your boundaries and everything else. But talking about darkness, I see you. You're looking gorgeous. You're vivacious, and you are in the film industry. I'd like to know though, why is the lockdown or the pandemic affecting actors more than any? I'm not sure. Why? What is it? What's happening to actors? I can see there's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of stress in the industry. And I'll ask you why. And we've got obviously the current event of Samir Sharma his passing away. You know, I'm not sure if it was depression or what it was, but people, especially in this condition, outside are losing their jobs every day. Nobody is the first person to have a break or to lose a job. But what is it about Bollywood or the media industry which is just depressing actors at this time? What is the difference?
No, there is a huge difference because whoever, like anyone who belongs to any other job, they at least have the job security. You know, they know that even if they're going through this pandemic, but once all of this gets over, they do have a place where they can go and they can start earning. There is some guarantee that they have.
Yeah.
There's something they can hold on to. But our industry, there is no guarantee, right? So why it is more depressing for us. In fact, people who are from other job backgrounds, they were receiving incentives even while people are working from home these days. So there are many types of other facilities that these people get. But what happens in our industry is that first of all, nothing is fixed.
Yeah.
So we don't have the guarantee of any show that, just as this pandemic gets over, we are going to go to the sets and start shooting and start burning. So that's not there. So we have to struggle. As I just mentioned earlier, we get rejected in hundreds of auditions. It's not easy to survive in this industry. So we have to give months and months to just struggle to get one show, to get one film. So what happened because of the pandemic, everything stopped. So we were not even able to go and audition, even though that's just a part of a struggle. So we were not even able to struggle. So once everything reopens for us, it starts from starting our struggle. So imagine how it is affecting our financial condition.
Okay.
And even after we get a show, we receive a payment from after 90 days. It's 3 months from we start shooting or from the telecast. So that's another thing. So imagine if someone who does not have anything, who's not doing any shows before the pandemic started. Pandemic started from March, April, May, June. For 4 months, he was just sitting idly at home and with all his expenses still there. Now from June also, things did not reopen as such. We're not allowed to move and go for auditions freely. We're still conducting auditions from home. Self auditions are happening. So you cannot meet people. And this industry is all about contact, all about meeting, being at the right place, giving the right opportunity. So you're not able to do that. So till July, you have no work. Now you get some work in August or maybe September. And then you receive the payment from November, October, November, December actually. So the entire year, you've got no money.
Oh,
that
I
is
see.
the depression, of course. And if you're not even working, you're idly sitting at home. And for actors who is so active, we work out. So that is also depressing for us, just sitting idly at home doing nothing. So there are many reasons that causes the depression.
So basically, there's a lot of time where you're not doing anything compared to when you are doing something.
Yeah,
and I guess
yeah.
so. I guess also the lockdown probably started 3 months earlier for you guys because, as you said, your finances just don't come in till God knows when. So no, I can imagine it. I guess you're always in this mental state. कि अब क्या
The main
होगा?
problem is
होगा
there is
कि
no
नहीं?
stability at all. There is no guarantee, there's no stability. So we have no hope to hold on to. For any other field, they at least know that they have a company where they can eventually go and start working. For us, there's no guarantee. That's the main problem.
Well, you know what, Richa, I've heard you this evening, and for someone so young, very enlightened, definitely a lot to say. You know what? Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And, it's really interesting to get a real insight into the industry, into people, and actually what you do and your thoughts. Because usually what happens is a lot of the viewers, all they see is just that picture. For that, they just see that promo, they just see, that cover for that movie, but they very rarely do they get to see the person behind the mask. And I really hope that, that people have understood Richa Mukherjee today as I have. So, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been wonderful. And it's amazing, but you start so young and how much experience you have, even at this young age. A lot of people don't even get that at the age of 40, for goodness sake. So, you've definitely been through a lot. You've met a lot of people, so the experience is there. So, I see a lot of the enlightenment and the maturity coming through.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was an absolute pleasure and a treat talking to you.
Thank you so much. Well, again, and I hope I see more of you. I'm really waiting for this.
Same
So
here.
do let us know about the dates and about the timelines of when your movies are coming out, because I can't wait.
Without a doubt, I'm gonna give you a call as soon as I have the information with you. For sure.